The night was cold, drenched in an unrelenting rain that painted the streets of Ashbourne in glistening silver. The city never truly slept. Neon signs flickered weakly, cars splashed through puddles, and distant sirens created a haunting symphony against the dark sky. At the corner of Willow Street, nestled between towering office buildings, stood an imposing structure, the Ashbourne Trust Bank. A place that symbolized security, wealth, and trust, or so people thought. But on this night, that illusion shattered. At exactly 11:47 p.m., the bank's alarm pierced the silence. A blaring, shrill cry that echoed through the empty streets. Within minutes, 2 patrol cars arrived, their flashing red and blue lights reflecting off the wet pavement. Officers Daniels and Reed rushed inside, guns drawn, hearts pounding. The sight that greeted them was nothing short of chilling. The large glass doors were smashed inward, shards scattered like ice across the marble floor. The reception desk was overturned, papers fluttering like wounded birds. But it wasn't the chaos that made Officer Daniels freeze, it was the body. A man lay sprawled in the middle of the main office, blood seeping from a deep wound on the side of his head, staining the white marble beneath him. His eyes were wide open, glassy, staring into nothing. His right hand clutched a small silver key tightly, as if trying to protect it even in death. Daniels swallowed hard. "We've got a murder." The vault door was wide open, empty. Millions of dollars gone. The crime scene was already swarming with officers when Detective Claire Donovan arrived. She stepped out of her car, pulling her dark trench coat tighter against the biting wind. Rain dripped from the brim of her hat as she surveyed the scene with sharp, calculating eyes. Claire was in her late 30s, tall and slender, with an air of quiet authority. Her green eyes held the kind of intensity that made people uncomfortable, as if she could see straight through them. She didn't need to raise her voice to command a room. Her presence did that for her. Victim identified as Leonard Graves, Officer Daniels briefed her. Senior financial officer. Worked here for over 10 years. No signs of forced entry at the vault, but the front door was smashed. Security cameras are down. Claire crouched beside the body, careful not to disturb the scene. She studied Leonard's face, frozen in terror. His grip on the silver key was so tight that his knuckles were white. She glanced around the room, her eyes catching subtle details. A trail of muddy footprints leading from the vault to the exit. A broken wristwatch near the victim's hand, the glass cracked, the time frozen at 11:39 p.m. A faint, lingering scent of expensive cologne, strange for a crime scene. Her partner, Detective Mark Ellis, arrived moments later, shaking off the rain from his jacket. He was in his early 30s, with messy brown hair and a knack for being both charming and impulsive. "Looks like a robbery gone wrong," Mark said, glancing at the empty vault. Claire stood up, dusting off her hands. No, this wasn't just a robbery. She pointed to the key in Leonard's hand. He was protecting something, and someone made sure he couldn't. The following morning, the Ashbourne Police Department buzzed with restless energy. Reporters gathered outside, their voices blending into a chaotic chorus of questions. Is this connected to other robberies in the area? Was it an inside job? Any suspects yet? Detective Claire Donovan ignored the noise as she stepped into the precinct. She had long since learned that public pressure was just background noise, a distraction from the truth. She sipped her bitter black coffee, the dark circles under her eyes a testament to a sleepless night spent replaying the crime scene in her mind. The walls of the investigation room were covered in photos, maps, and timelines. A large corkboard displayed a network of red strings connecting suspects, evidence, and theories. In the center was Leonard Graves' photo, his lifeless eyes a constant reminder of why they were here. Mark Ellis entered, dropping a thick folder onto the table. "Background checks on the bank employees," he said, rubbing his temples. "Nothing jumps out, except maybe Ethan Moore. Fired 3 weeks ago for misconduct. He threatened Leonard during his exit interview." Claire didn't respond immediately. Instead, she stared at the silver key found in Leonard's hand. What were you protecting, Leonard? She wondered silently. The first round of interviews began. Claire preferred to handle them personally. Reading people was her specialty. Victoria Lane, assistant bank manager. Victoria entered the room with the kind of confidence that bordered on arrogance. She was impeccably dressed, her sharp suit matching her equally sharp attitude. Her dark hair was pulled into a tight bun, not a strand out of place. Claire studied her for a moment before speaking. "Where were you the night of the robbery, Miss Lane?" "At home," Victoria replied smoothly, crossing her legs. "I was watching a movie. Alone." "No one to confirm that?" Mark interjected. Victoria's smile was thin. "Is that a crime now, being alone?" Claire leaned forward slightly, her gaze piercing. "Not a crime, but convenient." Victoria shifted uncomfortably. Claire noticed the subtle signs, tightening of her jaw, fingers nervously tapping her knee. Victoria was hiding something, but was it guilt or fear? Ethan Moore, disgruntled former employee. Ethan was a stark contrast to Victoria. Disheveled, with an unshaven face and dark circles under his eyes, he looked like a man who'd given up. His hostility was immediate.
"I didn't kill anyone," he snapped the moment he sat down. "Funny," Mark replied dryly. "We didn't ask if you did." Ethan's face flushed with anger. "You're wasting your time. Sure, I hated Leonard, but robbing a bank? That's not my style." Claire watched him closely. His rage felt real, but was it the frustration of an innocent man or the guilt of a criminal unraveling under pressure? Richard Hale, head of security. Richard exuded calm confidence. His tailored suit, polished shoes, and expensive watch spoke of a man who valued control. He answered questions with precision, his tone steady and professional. But Claire noticed something, a faint trace of cologne, the same scent lingering at the crime scene. And the ring on his finger, a bold silver band with an intricate design. It matched the blurry reflection in the distorted security footage. "Where were you during the robbery, Mr. Hale?" Claire asked, her tone neutral. "Home," Richard replied smoothly. "With my wife. She can confirm." His answers were perfect. Too perfect. Days passed and frustration grew. Every lead led to a dead end. The key found in Leonard's hand remained a mystery. It didn't match any lock in the bank, not the vault, not the offices, not even the safety deposit boxes. Claire kept it on her desk, staring at it during long nights, hoping it would somehow reveal its secrets.
Meanwhile, Mark grew increasingly convinced that Ethan Moore was the prime suspect. He had motive, no alibi, and a temper, Mark argued. But Claire's instincts screamed otherwise. "It's too obvious," she replied. "Real criminals hide in plain sight. They don't wave red flags." One evening, as Claire reviewed the distorted security footage for the 100th time, she noticed something she'd missed before, a small detail, almost invisible. A flash of light. A reflection. She paused the video, zooming in. There it was, a glimpse of a distinctive ring on the intruder's hand. The same ring Richard Hale wore every day. Claire's heart raced. The interrogation room felt colder than usual. Richard Hale sat across from Claire and Mark, his confident smile slightly faded. Claire placed a photo of the security footage on the table. "Recognize this?" she asked. Richard barely glanced at it. Blurry footage, could be anyone. Claire leaned forward. Could be, but the ring? That's unique. Richard's jaw tightened. A flicker of something, fear maybe, crossed his face. Mark added, "We found traces of your cologne at the crime scene." "And your alibi?" "Turns out your wife wasn't home that night." The facade crumbled. Richard's calm exterior shattered like glass. He broke down, confessing everything. He had planned the robbery meticulously. But Leonard had discovered the plan. Richard panicked, and in a moment of rage and fear, he killed him. The stolen money? Hidden in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Ashbourne. Richard Hale's trial was a media sensation. The courtroom was packed, tension thick in the air. Claire testified with clarity and precision, walking the jury through every detail of the investigation. The evidence was overwhelming. The verdict came swiftly. Guilty of murder, robbery, and obstruction of justice. As Richard was led away in handcuffs, Claire felt a wave of relief mixed with exhaustion. She stepped outside the courthouse, the cool breeze washing over her. Another case closed. Another shadow lifted. But in Ashbourne, there were always more shadows waiting.